he slammed that piece of crap human onto the cop car so hard, face first, and he was short, so his face just hit the window. Alright, welcome back you guys. It is late tonight. I've had a super busy day, but we're going to get going with this for this week. We're going to be getting pretty personal this week. I was having a really hard time trying to decide what to talk about with you guys, and there's a few things going on this month, and so some of the cards I had gone through had asked some questions that brought up memories regarding those things, and so there was just a lot. Tonight kind of took a turn, which seems like is happening a lot with these videos. I come up with an idea, and then it ends up taking a turn, you know, once I start thinking about things or reminiscing, and different thoughts pop into my head. And so tonight, this is just something that for some reason has been going round and round and round in my head, and I just really haven't been able to get my mind off of, and so we are going to go with this. What I want to talk about is the process of forgiveness, and you know, being able to find purpose, I guess, in the things that you have happen, and giving yourself grace over a lot of time. So, what kind of brought this up is this month, actually this week, has been 10 years since I had my last major brain surgery. And that brought up a lot of memories, a lot of people that I miss. Hopefully one of those people is going to be able to join me, hopefully next week, but at some point to share her story as well, regarding going through that surgery together. And so, like I said, I kind of sidetracked, and my mind has really gotten kind of stuck on this this other subject. And so that last brain surgery, that was when I was 16. There was a lot more before that of me being very sick, a lot of surgeries, a lot of treatments, a lot of traveling across country, and that started when I was 12 years old. I had my first spinal cord and brain surgery back in New York City, because we have a very, myself and my family have a very unique trifecta of diseases, which causes just some very complicated things, and it has to be dealt with in a very specific way that a lot of surgeons are not educated on, or that they practice. So the surgeon we found, who was kind of a pioneer in all of these diseases and the treatment of them in a way that keeps it manageable, is back in New York City. And so we traveled back to New York City, and I was having the surgery. And we got there, of course, about probably a week beforehand. We had to do all sorts of testing. I needed to have MRIs and CT scans of the brain and spine, you know, have consults with the surgeon, go over the plan, you know, all of that sort of thing. And then Mom and Dad always wanted to leave a couple days for us to just have fun. You know, it was going to be a very stressful time. And so they wanted us to enjoy the time, some of the time that we had there, and make good memories out of all the stress. So a couple days before surgery, Mom and Dad and I went into New York City oh gosh, it was so fun. We went all over Times Square, a blast. Oh my gosh, it just full of people, so full of people. I don't think there's a single time you're walking on the street that you're not going against the flow of people and you're just being pushed and shoved, and it's crazy. But what's great about New York is you can push and shove back and nobody cares. It's a very get where you're going environment, just lots of busyness and noise and lights and things going on, and it was just so much fun. We got to take a tour bus all over the city, one of those double-decker tour buses, see the Statue of Liberty. It was just so great. And for dinner, we stopped at Sparrow's, which is a Italian place. They've got, like, you know, pizza and sandwiches and all that sort of thing. And what I love about Times Square is when you go and have dinner there, a lot of the buildings have floor-to-ceiling windows. And so you really get to people watch the whole time. So we were sitting there having dinner, and so one of the issues with the brain problem, the spine problem that I have, was feeling really sick all the time, and like nauseous, and having all sorts of gut issues, and just having to run to the bathroom all the time. And so at dinner, I had gotten up from the table probably 4 or 5 times, and we'd been there, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes, an hour. And a lot of times it was like false alarms. You know, you feel super sick, so you run to the bathroom, and then you're like, okay, kind of calm down, and so you go back to your table. And I remember one of my huge goals on this trip, because I had heard so much about how New Yorkers are very to the point, not a lot of niceties, like please and thank you and excuse me, and you know, like us West Coasters are much more into that, and we make things much more fluffy. And that's also what makes things so fun about New Yorkers, is they can just have this crazy blunt attitude, and it's so funny sometimes. Even the little old ladies, like little 80-year-old ladies, you know, they will just bark out something and you go, oh my, okay. But it's great. And so one of my goals, I wanted to smile as much as possible. I wanted to be as nice as possible to everybody around me. And make it something that was normal. You know, not something that seemed like, oh, it's fake and you're being fluffy and, you know, whatever. I had this goal that I wanted to be as nice as possible. Which probably hearing me now sounds a little strange to people who know me, because they know I am very much more introverted now. I won't mind walking through a grocery store, a restaurant, wherever, and not talking to a soul. So that's kind of the opposite of what was going on at that time when I was 12. And I was much more outgoing. And so going up and down, this was a 2-story restaurant. Going up and down the stairs to the bathroom, which was down on the bottom floor, you know, when I kept feeling sick, I had continued to pass one of the employees. And smiled every time, said, you know, excuse me or hello, and I just kept walking. This employee, however, apparently was taking note of that, and so at the sign where it said the bathroom was, I would go through there, and then there was a huge hallway, almost the whole length of the building, and then the bathrooms were at the very end, and right next to that was a storage room. And so going up and down, this employee, like I said, kept passing me. I had passed him a couple times seen him going into the storeroom right next to the bathrooms. So we finished dinner and went outside to do some more shopping. One of the other super fun things about New York is there's vendors everywhere. And my mom she loves scarves. She will always have a scarf around her neck. I need to send her those videos where there's like 20 different ways to tie a scarf and to fit every outfit, or just kind of mix it up a little bit, because that's what she'll do. She'll just wear a scarf all the time. And so a lot of these vendors, they had beautiful purses and scarves were the two big things I remember, and there would just be multiple tables lining the streets with these purses and scarves and different things for like $5. They were so cheap, and so every time she went, she came home with just a ton more of these things. So we're out there, and again, all of a sudden felt super sick. I asked Dad, I'm like, hey, I need to go back inside. I need to go to the bathroom. And so ran back inside, ran downstairs, and so Dad sat at the bottom of the steps, kind of on this little planter. There was all these little decorative plants. So he sat at the edge there, because where that doorway was, it said, there was a sign for the bathrooms. He thought it was like right inside. And I didn't think to tell him that it was all the way down this huge hallway. So go in, again, it was another false alarm, didn't end up getting sick. I came back out, and again, past this employee. And when I walked out, he grabbed me by the arm and turned me around. And as soon as I felt that, I knew something was off. And I just felt nervous. And he asked me, do you want to be my friend? And I was only 12, but there was still just a radar on it. I knew something wasn't right. And at first I wondered if maybe he was a little mentally delayed. And that was something, he's just like, hey, I want a friend. And it was kind of that different kind of conversation that sometimes you can experience with individuals who are mentally handicapped. But in every other way, he appeared normal. And so I said, sure, because I knew, I'm like, I need to get out of this, and I need to agree and go on, kind of play along so that I can get away easily. And as soon as I said yes, he said, he told me to, of course, then all my radars are going off. I knew this was crazy. But I was finally able to stop him, or at least took a minute and kind of pulled back. And I said, and I don't even know why he went along with this, but all I knew is I had to get away from that storage room. Because I felt like the next thing I knew, I wasn't going to be coming out of there. And I knew Dad was just right on the other side of the doorway. And so I said, hey, why don't you come meet my dad? He's super nice. And I just kind of kept going on and on and on. And I took arms with him, and I let him have his arm around me, and I continued to walk towards the doorway, just very slow, very calm. Once we got about 3 feet from the doorway, pushed him as hard as I could, and I ran, and Dad was right outside. And I don't even remember what I said. I just remember I was sobbing, and Dad, of course, immediately knew something was wrong, and I think all I could get out was, there's a guy. And so he goes bolting, of course, back into that hallway, and the guy had bailed. He went into the storage room. Dad had him up on that wall by the shirt so fast. And I was terrified. I didn't know what else he was maybe gonna do, so I ran back outside and up onto the street to find Mom. Thank goodness she was still in the same place. She was so there were so many things out there, and of course she didn't know what was going on, but she was so distracted, she didn't bother wondering. She was just stuck in one place. So I was able to find her. Oh my gosh. And then for probably the next hour, we were out on the street, with all the cops in the middle of Times Square. My blood sugar then goes low because I'm a type 1 diabetic, and all this stress, of course, just made me tank. So my blood sugar goes low. So I sit down on the street, like in the middle of the crosswalk, and I'm checking my blood sugar, trying to shove in glucose tablets, sobbing, you know, like crazy. Cops everywhere, and one of them, and I think this was it actually, I think I remember laughing, like even in the moment, with as shell-shocked as I was, and it was kind of a nice surprise, and kind of something that made us laugh. One of the guys, he looked like a regular civilian. He came out, he slammed that piece of crap human onto the cop car so hard, face first, and he was short, so his face just hit the window. And it was a guy who Mom and Dad had seen on their prior trips back to New York, and he was always on the same block. Turns out he was an undercover cop. He was just the sweetest guy. I mean, all of them were so nice. And it ended up just being this whole long thing. So on the way home, we got on the train home, and we were talking about it, and I remember thinking, I can't forgive this person. I'm only a kid. He took something from me, terrified me, and I just can't. And it's not even that I don't want to, but I just can't. There's nothing there. The only thing I felt was fear. There was no way I could feel anything else, even if I wanted to. And I remember being told, and it's so true with anything, is you don't have to feel it. You just have to choose. You just have to say yes. And all it takes is that yes, and then the rest will come with time. And it's true. So I decided that night, I decided I wanted to forgive this man. And I wanted one day to, you know, when we both pass on, when we're both with God, I want him to be there. And I want him to be happy. I want him to have had a changed life. And I especially not only want him to have a changed life to hopefully see what he did to me, but to see and stop what he may have done to other people or was possibly going to do to other people. And so the forgiveness part has been a long, long process, and it's still, in a way, ongoing. And so that's something I really want people to take away in your own journeys. It took me probably a couple of years, at least about 2 years, to really feel at peace and not feel angry or hurt anymore when I thought about that. But I prayed for him every day. I talked all the time to Saint Maria Goretti. I ended up forming such a bond with her because her story, I mean, it's incredible. If you don't know it, look her up. She's such an inspiration to any, especially young women, young men. But when she was a young girl, she was by one of her neighbors and her friends. He attempted to assault her, and she refused. She fought back, she completely refused, and he ended up murdering her.
Perdonami Maria, ti supplico. Se mi perdoni tu, lo farà anche Dio, Maria.
Alessandro,
Perché l'ha fatto?
lo odio.
Padre, perdona loro perché non sanno quello che fanno.
Ma io lo perdono. Lo perdono. E lo voglio vicino a me, paradiso.
I found it was just seemed like more than coincidence that her name is Maria. She was 12 years old, just like I was. We had the same situation happen. Of course, mine ended up much better. And so every day I would just talk to her. I would beg her to give me strength, to give me peace. And I remember so many days just crying anytime I was alone, being scared of the dark for the longest time, being scared to walk down a hallway, even in my own house, going from my bedroom to the garage and thinking, what if there's something in the garage? You know, even to this day, I still sometimes will walk into my apartment and just have this huge amount of fear and feel like something's not right, and I find myself looking in every closet, looking under the bed, looking under tables, making sure that nobody's there. And it feels so stupid, you know, to still feel like that, but it's very, very real. And even tonight, you know, going over this story, and before I had decided to talk about it, you know, thinking about other things that had kind of either led up to it or followed it, or different things, for some reason this was something that was kind of like I found my heart going faster, I felt nauseous, like, and I just felt kind of all of that flooding back again. And so even after you forgive, it all can still come back. Even after you've healed, you've found ways to cope with it, you can still have those periods of time where it feels like you're right there again. But it takes, so it, you know, just because you forgive, that doesn't mean the feelings go away. It doesn't mean the fear goes away. It doesn't mean the anger goes away. At some point, it will, mostly. But like I said, you still will have those flashbacks, those periods of time that it comes back and it's all very much alive again. But in those moments, choose that yes again. You know, don't, of course it's hard to get past the fear if that's something you experience. But if you can, then, you know, get past that as much as you can. Try not to wallow in any anger that you feel, and any resentment that you feel. just choose that yes. If you're someone who prays, pray right away. Pray for that person who hurt you. Pray for that person who made you angry. Pray for the person who caused you any sort of injustice. And even if you don't know what to say, tell God that. Say, I don't know what to say, but I'm hurt, I'm mad, I don't want to feel this way. Please bring me peace. Please bring peace and healing and happiness to this person who hurt me. Please bless them. Please guide them and make them a stronger, better person. And make me a stronger person. Give me the strength to get past this, to continue to heal from this, and to want the best for them. And that will be an ongoing process. But if you can choose that yes over and over, no matter how angry you are, it's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel frustrated. It's okay to feel scared or hurt or anything else. But you're going to be able to continue to find peace, and you're going to be able to heal if you just choose that yes. If you want to forgive them, or even if you want to forgive them, or you want to forgive them, as all down the line, even if you don't even know how to start, even if you don't know how to get rid of the feelings that have hit, and the memories or resentments or whatever it is that may have hit. If you can at least know that you want to be rid of that, and you want the best for that person, then it's going to come gradually, and that peace will return to you. So yeah, thanks for listening. I know this is kind of an odd off topic. I probably wasn't very clear with the way I told the story, or kind of expressed what I wanted to share with you guys about just making that conscious choice to move forward and heal and want the best for anyone who has hurt you. But I hope that the message kind of came across, and like I said, we will get more into those old stories of New York, and a little bit more of those hard times, and how you can use that to make yourself stronger. And hopefully we will be joined by one of my friends who was very close to me during that time. So I hope you all have a good week, and I will talk to you soon.